Breanna and Breanna Stewart actually talking about the loss, what happened, things like that. And something came out of Breanna Stewart's mouth.
She has great range and her ability to get her shot off. I'm really happy to see her back out on the court. I'm happy she's back.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark.
People are loving what Sabrina said about Caitlin Clark and just showing love.
They called her overrated. They said she couldn't hang in the W. But Caitlin Clark just lit up the New York Liberty twice.
New York Liberty was picked to be the #1 team in the W, which they are right now. But I'm telling you, they really lost to the Indiana Fever twice. The Indiana Fever will be 2-0 against the New York Liberty.
And now the very stars who were expected to dominate, Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart, are breaking their silence.
Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu has broken their silence.
What they said about Caitlin has everyone talking. From jaw-dropping threes to complete control on the court.
She steps into that court, and in the first quarter, she made 3 threes in 38 seconds.
Clark's performance didn't just silence critics. It earned her praise from the league's elite. This isn't just another game recap. This is a turning point. Comment 100% for Caitlin if you believe she's proving all the doubters wrong.
She is just absolutely undeniable.
Caitlin Clark was just different. Caitlin Clark is the system.
Caitlin Clark is
generational talent we've needed.
She is the system.
She's 4th in the league in MVP voting.
Caitlin Clark is an absolute all-star. She is the Michael Jordan of this. This is the girl that girls have been waiting for forever.
The New York Liberty came into this matchup as the team to beat. Stacked with stars like Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu, they were supposed to steamroll the Indiana Fever again. But what happened instead sent shockwaves through the WNBA.
As Caitlin Clark put on a show that only she can in leading the team to a win over the New York Liberty, the first L for the Liberty on the season. Clark made those passes that are just gorgeous dimes.
Caitlin Clark didn't just show up. She took over. From the very first quarter, she controlled the tempo, navigated double teams, and buried deep threes like she was back in college form.
She hit the logo bombs, 3 of them in 38 seconds. Caitlin was able to hit down the court. Just gorgeous. I mean, come on.
This wasn't a fluke. This was calculated execution against a team that, on paper, had every advantage. The numbers tell the story.
Caitlin Clark, 9 points in 20 or 38 seconds, 32 points. From Caitlin Clark, 9 assists, 8 rebounds, 11 for 20 from the field, 7 for 14 from the 3.
Indiana hit 17 three-pointers, with Caitlin leading the offensive rhythm. Meanwhile, Liberty, despite their depth and talent, couldn't keep up. Their defense fell apart, and the Fever exposed every gap. As one creator put it, men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Men lie, women lie, and numbers don't. And the numbers just prove Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever is a better team than the New York Liberty.
And the numbers prove Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever are the better team.
Men lie, women lie, and numbers don't. And the numbers just prove Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever is a better team than the New York Liberty.
The Liberty might be the league's top seed, but they couldn't stop a rookie from tearing them apart.
The word undeniable exists for a reason, and it applies to Caitlin Clark. And her return to the Indiana Fever showed it once again.
Even with WNBA officiating under the microscope, Caitlin's performance was so dominant that even a biased whistle couldn't hide her impact. This wasn't just a win, it was a statement. A message to every team in the league that Caitlin Clark isn't just hype. She's here, she's locked in, and she's not backing down.
Caitlin Clark is the best basketball player in the world. She's the best basketball player that I have ever seen. She is the difference maker. She is the needle mover. She is the face of basketball right now.
When the final buzzer sounded and the Liberty walked off the court with another unexpected loss to Caitlin Clark's Indiana Fever, fans waited to see what the stars of New York had to say. Would they brush it off? Would they blame injuries, fatigue, or officiating? What came instead shocked many and is now going viral across social media. Sabrina Ionescu didn't dodge the truth. She admitted flat out that Caitlin Clark got too many good looks, saying, "She has great range, and her ability to get her shot off is really impressive, especially after missing some games."
She has great range, and her ability to get her shot off is really impressive, especially with missing some games.
That's high praise coming from someone who knows what it takes to be a top-level shooter. Sabrina wasn't defensive or dismissive. She was respectful. She acknowledged that the Liberty's defensive breakdowns gave Clark too much room.
Let's see what some people are saying right here. I am 100% Fever, but first team I have watched with class this year. Other than my Fever, great game, ladies. I love the sportsmanship. May you have a great season.
And Clark punished them for it. When asked how defeating it was to try and catch up to a shooter like Clark, Sabrina didn't flinch. It's not defeating. We know what a great shooter she is.
I mean, it's not defeating. Basketball's a game of runs, in the same way like we go on runs, they do as well. They're a great team. So I don't think it's defeating. I think obviously we know what a great shooter she is, and I think we just gave her too many easy ones, obviously.
She said, crediting Caitlin's rhythm and consistency. That kind of acknowledgement from a competitor isn't common in a league where rookies usually have to earn their place through silence and sweat. Breanna Stewart, the reigning MVP and the cornerstone of the Liberty franchise, followed with comments that sent fans into a frenzy.
Breanna Stewart was giving her a lot of space. She shoots it from the logo, she drills it, and right afterwards, I think all Breanna Stewart could do is kind of laugh about it. I actually loved that moment.
She expressed genuine happiness to see Caitlin back on the court healthy and thriving. On a personal level, I'm really happy to see her back out there.
Obviously, on a personal level, I'm really happy to see her back out on the court, healthy, feeling good, because obviously it's important for them, but just for her, I'm happy she's back.
Stewart said, then followed that by addressing their team's complete collapse on defense. She pointed to the Fever's offensive explosion, specifically saying, they had like 53 at half and finished with 102. It doesn't really seem like we were guarding much.
Individually, I think just making better reads off the switches. They made it really difficult because they were just like, there was just constantly somebody there, and trying to find an opening to get downhill or to find somebody else. And then collectively, like our defense, I think we should take pride in that a little bit more. And they had like 53 at half and finished with 102. So it doesn't really seem like we were guarding much.
Coming from one of the most respected defenders in the game, that's a big admission. Even the Liberty's head coach chimed in, admitting they might have overworked Sabrina and Breanna and that the Fever executed well.
Yeah, look, obviously we had to rely on these two players here, and we didn't get to the rim. Early in the game we did. I think we had about 32 points in the paint in the first half, and we didn't get as many open ones as we did in the second half, and that's on the coaching staff. We've got to make it a little bit easier for them in that regard. But they're switching. They were very disruptive. They were very physical, and we've got to be a better job at executing that.
The coach also emphasized how Indiana's physical defense and efficient shot making exposed serious flaws in New York's game plan.
With the previously unbeaten New York Liberty, Sabrina Ionescu and company 9-0 on the season. Clark went bananas.
Tough. But it wasn't just what they said. It was how they said it. There was no bitterness, no excuses. Instead, it was an open recognition that Caitlin Clark isn't just a media darling or a college star trying to fit in. She's legit. And not only that, she's forcing elite teams like the Liberty to go back to the drawing board. For months, some WNBA vets have been cold or dismissive toward Caitlin. This was different. This was respect, earned respect. The kind of respect that goes viral because it shows a shift in the league's tone.
When Caitlin Clark goes with the Valkyries, it's going to be crazy. When she goes to Golden State, that game's going to be crazy. You've seen what it is with the Valkyries.
Fans immediately took to social media, highlighting the humility in Stewart's and Ionescu's comments and sharing clips of their post-game interviews.
We had some really good moments in this game too, but not consistently great for long enough periods to...
Comments flooded in praising the duo for giving Caitlin her flowers. Because when the best in the game start showing that kind of recognition, it's no longer about hype. It's about reality. And this reality is clear. Caitlin Clark is no longer knocking at the door. She's already inside. And even the league's biggest names are acknowledging it.
Yeah, I think it's just like having the mindset of, I don't need to make up for lost time, just being patient and getting back into the flow of things, getting back into the flow of playing with my team. We changed a little bit of what we did on offense when I was out, just certain actions that we had to be more intentional in, just because, we didn't play out pick and roll as much. That's what I like to do. And, some of my teammates, that's not their best strength. They have other strengths, so playing to those strengths more.
What we're witnessing isn't just a few good games or media hype. This is the beginning of a seismic shift in the WNBA, and Caitlin Clark is the epicenter. Her back-to-back performances against the New York Liberty have done more than boost her stats. They've exposed cracks in the so-called super team model.
The Indiana Fever before Caitlin and the Indiana Fever after Caitlin, she is like 1,000% the difference maker.
And raised serious questions about who's actually running the league's momentum right now. The Liberty, led by seasoned stars with years of playoff experience, were supposed to represent dominance and cohesion. But after getting embarrassed by a rookie and her underdog squad twice, that narrative is starting to fall apart. And let's be clear, Caitlin didn't just have a hot hand. She broke their defensive structure.
5 games with the injury, the quad, keeping Caitlin Clark on the sidelines. But Trevor, she was back today for an enormous run.
Breanna Stewart admitted they weren't guarding much, and that Clark's team dropped 102 points on them, with 53 coming in the first half alone. That's not just a bad night. That's a defensive meltdown against a team that wasn't even expected to make the playoffs a month ago. Sabrina and Breanna both confessed that Clark's deep range, fast release, and ability to find shooters completely disrupted their game plan.
She is the only player in the league so far averaging 20 points per game, 5 rebounds per game or more, 5 assists or more per game. Caitlin Clark is back in action.
This team won a massive game.
They gave her space and she made them pay, over and over again. Liberty's head coach didn't mince words either. She admitted Caitlin's team executed well, pointed out the defensive breakdowns, and even confessed they failed to make the game easier for their stars. She acknowledged that Indiana's physicality and discipline were factors they couldn't counter.
The Indiana Fever have come out and dominated.
Imagine that. A top-seeded team with all-stars is saying they were outworked and outplanned by a rookie-led squad. That's not just a one-off loss. That's a system getting exposed. But beyond the stats and X's and O's, there's something deeper happening here. Something cultural.
WNBA rumors suggest Caitlin Clark will be among the first stars making $1 million annually. The most notable of which is, y'all already know who, the needle mover, Caitlin Clark.
So in 2024, she averaged 16.5 points per game, 4 assists, 5.5 rebounds. She shot 37% from the field and 31.8% from 3. Now, if you look at her preseason in 2025, she only played 2 games in this preseason, and one was against that Brazilian national team. She played 21 minutes. She averaged 14.5 points, 6 assists, 6 rebounds. She shot 52.5% from the field and 50% from 3-point range.
Caitlin Clark isn't just bringing her skills to the league. She's bringing attention, passion, and most importantly, change. The WNBA has long struggled with visibility.
Indiana Fever handled business. 102-88. We finally hit triple digits thanks to CC22.
Marketability and mainstream engagement. But since Caitlin's arrival, everything has shifted. Ratings are up. Social media is exploding. And when clips of Sabrina and Breanna praising her performance hit the internet, they instantly went viral.
Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu talked to the media alongside their head coach.
She has great range and her ability to get her shot off. I'm really happy to see her back out on the court. I'm happy she's back.
Not just among basketball fans, but across pop culture spaces. Why? Because people love to witness a power shift in real time. It's like watching the moment when a new champion dethrones the old guard. Caitlin represents that.
Caitlin Clark is a superstar globally.
Caitlin Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was full sprinting down the court.
And now even those who once might have looked down on her are realizing they can't ignore her anymore.
Caitlin Clark scored or assisted on 54 Fever points. The 9th time in 45 career games she's created at least 50 points. The only player in WNBA history.
She's drawing defenders out to the logo. She's orchestrating plays with veteran-like poise. And most importantly, she's turning skeptics into believers, both on the court and off it. This isn't just about basketball. It's about momentum.
And so we got back into the game. We had that run when Stewie was guarding Caitlin Clark, but then they executed well. And, we had so many breakdowns on defense and they made shots. They really punished us on that end, making, 17 threes from 35. It was just too wide open. So a little lack of communication. We had to obviously work these two, probably overworked them tonight. But, a lot of things that we can learn. And we, like I said before the game, we're nowhere near where we need to.
Influence. Legacy. When a player starts to shift how other players speak in press conferences, how teams prepare their defense, and how fans interact with the league.
Caitlin Clark is a rising star in women's basketball. She's pulling in crazy viewership numbers.
She's my role model. I really look up to her.
Why do you like Caitlin?
And she's so good at basketball.
Because she's that awesome person and she has like a lot of aura, so like.
That's a level of impact most rookies only dream of. And yet Caitlin's doing it in her first few months. She's not just part of the WNBA conversation anymore. She is the conversation.
Caitlin Clark is the 4th fastest player in WNBA history to hit 850 points. Logo, long-ass three. Caitlin's going to hit us with the Jordan right there with the tongue out.
And the fact that Breanna Stewart and Sabrina Ionescu, the very faces of the league, have now gone on record acknowledging her greatness shows just how quickly the tides are turning. The era of brushing off rookies is over. The era of Caitlin Clark is here. And judging by how viral this moment is going, everyone, teammates, rivals, coaches, fans, is finally waking up to what some of us knew all along. Caitlin Clark is different.
I feel good. I thought my rotations were good. Steph got me a couple of breathers. But I feel strong. I felt good. I thought we played a good game. Thought there was a lot we can still improve on, which is really positive for us. But that's how the Fever are supposed to play basketball. Up-tempo, unselfish, working for your teammates. So really proud of our group.
Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart didn't just lose a game. They helped redefine the conversation around Caitlin Clark. What they said wasn't just respectful. It was historic.
That's nice. And she was shooting the shit out of it. Of course she was. Right, so she was shooting the shit out of it. And she's the face of the league. Agreed.
She's the face of the league. Agreed.
Just have nothing but great things to say about who she is as a person. Just so welcoming and so warm as an individual that she can have a conversation with anybody. She's cut from the same cloth as me in that regard. You know, us Midwesterners, we tend to just, accept everybody with open arms. She was so kind to my family and everyone in the suite when she came to KC. So huge fans of Caitlin Clark.
Because when the league's biggest stars publicly acknowledge a rookie's greatness, it signals a shift that can't be ignored. Caitlin Clark isn't waiting for approval. She's earning it with every shot, every win, and every viral moment.
Caitlin Clark effect seems to be crazier than year one.
I love watching her score and just everything about her.
They went the extra mile just to watch her play here.
This is great news for women's basketball. Period.
Caitlin Clark is the GOAT.
She signed my jersey. So happy, I'm crying. I'm so happy. This is the best day ever.
And if this is how she's playing just a few weeks into her pro career, imagine what's coming next. Comment 100% for Caitlin if you believe she's already changing the WNBA forever.